Hello, my name is Kacy Bartels, and I'm a Master of Public Administration student at the University of Arizona and a Peace Corps Coverdell Fellow. My outreach assistantship is with Pima County's Emergency Eviction Legal Services Program, otherwise known as EELS. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the eviction process, as well as where EELS intervenes in that process. EELS is a new program that began in August 2021. The goal of the EELS program is to keep as many tenants as possible housed through providing access to free legal counsel and representation in eviction proceedings. EELS is currently made up of a team of 4 navigators who determine tenant eligibility for the program, refer tenants to legal counsel, and connect them to community resources such as rent assistance. Since 2017, the median rent in Tucson has increased 40% to over $1,200 per month. In the bottom left, I've included a map of neighborhood vulnerability in Pima County. The darker shades indicate areas where residents are especially likely to be harmed by shocks, such as those rising housing costs, and thus are more vulnerable to eviction. Next, I'm going to quickly go over the eviction process and EELS interventions. Eviction cases are filed after a breach of a lease agreement. Most often, this is due to non-payment of rent. In most cases, the landlord gives a tenant a 5 or 10-day notice to correct a breach of the lease. The tenant has the opportunity to do so, but if the breach is not corrected, the landlord can then file a complaint with the court, and a hearing date will be set. The landlord and tenant then have a hearing with the judge about the complaint, where the judge determines who should have possession of the property and if any money is owed. If the judge determines that the tenant is evicted, the landlord can then file for a writ of restitution to have the tenant removed from the property. The tenant can leave on their own, but if they don't, a constable will come to execute the writ and remove the tenant from the property. At any point during this process, the tenant can reach out to EELS by phone or through our contact form. An EELS navigator will then contact the tenant to explain the eviction process, determine their eligibility, and connect them to other resources. If the tenant has a notice or a court date, they will be referred to a lawyer if they're eligible. And if the tenant has a court date, their rental assistance can also be expedited. In the first 5 months of the EELS program, 578 households received legal counsel, 115 households received full representation in court, and in more than half of those full representation cases, the outcome was favorable for the tenant. In the future, the EELS program hopes to expand the capacity of the navigators to connect tenants to other community resources, do landlord outreach and education, and increase the use of the settlement process in eviction cases. I encourage you to read through the poster to get a better idea of the eviction process as well as what EELS does. And thank you so much for your time.